Hi again, everyone, and welcome to another Chalk Talk session with DJ Shockley and Eric Zier. We're going to talk a little bit about the Georgia Charleston Southern game. We're also going to talk a little bit about what's been going on this season. A tremendous year for Georgia football. Obviously, the Bulldogs ranked #1 and completed an undefeated regular season in the SEC last Saturday with the win over Tennessee up in Knoxville. And Shock, I'll start with you. What does that mean to this program to go 8-0 in perhaps the toughest conference in all of college football?
Well, first off, it means me and Z weren't as good as we thought we were as quarterbacks for the university. I mean, obviously, we couldn't get it done, so the mailman need to come get it done. No, man, it's an amazing feat. As we all know, the SEC is the best conference in entire college football, and we know the competition level there is tremendous. I mean, you just look at their teams trying to get into this conference for a reason, and it's a reason why Georgia is at the top of it, because Kirby and his staff do the best recruiting around the country. These guys have bought in, these guys have become a team, and week in and week out they came to play regardless of the emblem on the other side of the helmet. So big props to Kirby and his staff for getting these guys ready to go every single week, and big props for the players for coming to play, in this conference every single week, because it's a tough grind. We've seen it all year. Guys get hurt, we see guys go down, but other guys continue to step up and step in and play their roles. So it was fun to be able to watch your team go through that gauntlet of the SEC. But it is a tremendous feat to go undefeated in the SEC and say, hey, you were the first to do it in program history. So it's a pretty cool moment for everybody involved.
Yeah, Shaq, I completely agree with that. I think it's a testament to not only the culture that Kirby has built and continues to reinforce around playing just to our standard, to not read the press clippings and not think that you're too big, not play up or down to the opponent that you're playing. He's done a remarkable job since day one on that end, but I think it's a testament too to the leadership that we have in the locker room on this football team that reinforces that culture, that lifts everybody up. This really is a family. You see it week in and week out when you get second team guys and third team guys that are in the football game. Everybody stays engaged and everybody is rooting for one another, and there's tremendous pride to play at our very best regardless of who is in the football game. And it's special. It is special. It is hard to go win every game, because every game you play, you're going against elite athletes week in and week out. And when you battle through injuries and you battle through travel schedules and all that goes into it, playing against the best teams in college football, to go undefeated is special.
Scott, let me add one more thing to this. When Z mentioned the standard and how these guys expect to play, it popped in my brain about a couple of weeks ago after the game when Georgia just finished beating Missouri and whooped them pretty good, and everybody looks like, oh, it's a great game, and Georgia handled Missouri. Well, in that locker room after the game, there were 2 or 3 guys who stood up before Coach Smart could even start speaking to the team after the game and say, look, this is not how we're supposed to play. Yeah, we won the game, but this is not to the standard that we expected to play to every single week. And we got to make sure we're doing everything we need to do to be, ready for each and every game. And, Kirby mentioned it after the game in a couple presses that, hey, he had never seen that happen before. And I think that's just a testament to, like Z just mentioned, the leaders on this team, but also these guys expect to play to a certain standard. And I thought it was pretty cool that, one, the players got up and acknowledged that, and then Kirby also acknowledged it to his players, and his players know what it means to play to the Georgia standard.
Did you guys see that more last week against Tennessee? Going in, there were a lot of people that were scared about what might happen in that ball game. And we did see Tennessee score a few points early, but then, for the bulk of the game, they couldn't get the ball in the end zone. They couldn't get on the scoreboard until very, very late when it was already decided. But did you see us meet that standard against Tennessee? And Z, you can speak up loudly because I know you're your wife's in the area, so she's going to want to hear this.
I think Tennessee's got an outstanding football program, and the people that graduate from there are exceptional, just like from Georgia.
You mean like that guy that shaved the T in his chest?
We're not going to try. He didn't go to school there. He didn't go to school. No. So I think Julie heard that. I'm not sure. She's around the corner, so hopefully she did. But I will tell you, I think that we did it. You know, it just the Tennessee offense right now, the pace at which they play is as fast as I've ever seen. That they are. Honestly, I was sitting in the booth right next to you, and I think I looked over to you after the first series, and I'm like, "You're going to have fun today," and I'm not sure why I'm here because I can't edgewise. But to prepare for that is you can't simulate that kind of speed. I mean, and it's our ability to adjust very quickly. I was concerned going into the game because I really thought the first three series, you know, we could see Tennessee put up. I wouldn't have been surprised if they put up 3 touchdowns. I did think that we were going to adjust and settle in. It's exactly what we did do. But how quickly we adjusted, that goes back to the way this team prepares. That first touchdown, Tennessee was outscoring opponents by more than 100 points in first quarters of games this year, including the Alabamas of the world as well. And, you know, for Georgia only to give up 10 in that first quarter and then completely shut down Tennessee until trash time, it just shows that we were ready. It took us a second to get our feet underneath us, but then we were ready to go with substitution patterns, with adjusting to the speed, with making some in-game adjustments. We've seen it happen week in and week out this year, and that is all about the way these guys prepare themselves leading into games. That doesn't happen by chance. It's not lucky. It's not a mistake. These guys are ready to go, so when they have to make adjustments, that they can make them on the fly.
Man, you know what? If anybody listens to our pregame show, they know I wasn't worried. I mean, I practically said it. Z was excited about it.
You called it early.
Yeah, I mean, he commended me on what I said during the pregame show, so I was not worried. No, I was.
You're lucky you didn't jinx a shock. I mean, let's just be honest. You were outside the window of the jinx taking place, but we're going to have some off-air coaching sessions on what you can and can't say.
All I know is Scott loved it, and that's all that mattered. I mean, Scott enjoyed it. He enjoys putting those type of things out there. So I wanted to just join in it and see what kind of hair on the back of the neck I can get stand up from you, Z.
In Charleston Southern now this week, the conference schedule's done until the SEC championship game. So 2 non-conference games remaining, Charleston Southern and then Georgia Tech to close out the regular season. What is your focus like, guys? You've both, when you were playing, you've both had games like this when you go from a conference opponent to a non-conference, and this is even FCS, so it's not even really the same division as what Georgia plays in. But is it easy to keep the focus for a team that comes in? What are they, 4-5? This is their final game of the year. Charleston Southern coming to town. I mean, it's a lopsided matchup, but what's the focus for Georgia?
I think it has to be the same. Yeah, I think this is a team that in Georgia who understands each and every week, because you got the number 1 on your back, teams are going to be gunning for you. I mean, like you mentioned, this is their last game of the season. They would love to go out and say, hey, we beat the number 1 team in the country, or we gave them everything they could handle for 4 quarters. But I believe this is the same kind of mentality that a championship team will have, is they go out and they don't play down to the opponent. They play to the standard in which they're used to playing to. And Georgia has showed us all year long that they can do that. And I don't think this would be any different because they have goals. They have things that they're shooting for. They have a huge opportunity, which Kirby speaks about every single week, is the opportunity that's at hand. And you don't want it to go to the wayside because you didn't come out and you weren't prepared to play in this ball game, because it wasn't the high energy like it was against Tennessee. You got to come out ready to play. And I think this team will be that. I think this team will have that same mindset. And you get a lot of guys get a chance to play this ball game. And of course, it's the last game at home, man. It's senior day for a lot of players. Senior day for a lot of guys. They want to go out and, last time they get to play in, Sanford Stadium, they want to make sure it's a memorable one and one that goes down in the record book. So I'm sure a lot of guys will be playing for the seniors, and then the seniors will be playing for themselves as well, as it'll be the last time they get a chance to do it.
And Shock, we've seen this happen all year long, right? Where we've gone in lopsided matchups. We have played to our standard. I like you, I expect to see that same thing. As a matter of fact, I would even say that the goals that we have set for every game, we ratchet those up, right? And I'm not sitting in the locker room, but this defense wants to be suffocating. This offense wants to continue to grow and click. We had a great offensive game last week. We want to continue to get better. And while this is a game that we should easily win and should handle, right? In the world of sports, I said should, Scott. I said should.
Z, no, you didn't.
I said should easily handle. It's still a game when you go out and compete. When you go out and compete, anything can happen. But more than anything in this game, you don't want any chinks in your armor. You don't want to get out of rhythm. You don't want any doubt to creep into your mind. You want to continue playing mentally sharp football, sound football, physical football, and continue playing at that high level because you're on such a great roll. And again, that's just about playing to our standard. And because we've seen it all year, there's no reason to expect that we won't see this team come out and play at a very, very high level. I think the other thing that a game like this gives you a chance to do is get deep into your roster. Continue to give guys experience. If you need to get some guys healthy, get them healthy as we head into a stretch run that is like few that we've ever seen here at the University of Georgia. So it's a game that you've got to be ready for and prepared for. It's a game that you should win and you should handle pretty easily, but you want to continue playing at the level of elite standards that you've been playing at.
Any final thoughts before we jump out of here?
I'm going to coach Shock on what he can say and can't say and when it's allowed and when it's not allowed, because obviously he doesn't quite have it yet. Scott, I'm still working on you. You're still a work in progress. It's a weekly event on what you can.
I'm hard to mold.
Say.
Well, Zay, I'm a rookie to the crew, so I wasn't aware of the time restraints that we have. So I wasn't sure when was it good. So you got to give me a little grace.
Well, you were still outside 3 hours before kickoff. If for 3.5 hours, you're still okay. 3 hours before kickoff. Once you're in game, it definitely can't come out because Scott has absolutely cost us a game or two over the years, and it's problematic. One game.
Well, according to you guys, I don't buy into that theory, but you said one game, and that was Florida last year. But there's some great numbers out there that you got to, you got to give the information to the listening audience.
After the game, it's after the fact is when you give the information.
It's no fun at that point. Early starts. We want to see you, want to hear you, and we'll get it cranking at 8 a.m. With our early start here on the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network. And you can hear DJ Shockley and Eric Zier and many others on our broadcast on Saturday. We hope you can join us. So the Bulldogs on Saturday at 12 o'clock, Senior Day, last home game of the year. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.